Hello everyone, I'm Justin.
And I'm Paige.
And we are
Being Adventurous. So today we're going to kind of do the same thing that we did in our last video for the XC40 Recharge. And now we're going to do our takes on the EV6, the Kia EV6. Our first edition Kia EV6.
More importantly, first edition.
Sorry, we're very proud. We got our custom tags in this last week, so that was really nice to see it. We just got to find some sort of cover that looks good and shows it off better. But anyway, as far as our likes go, I'm going to start. My first thing is what I think really maybe sold me on the car to begin with, because this is one of my tick items, you know, that I needed: ambient lighting. The ambient lighting in this car is amazing, and I still haven't set up my settings for it, so we're going off of Justin's settings, but I can't wait to get in there and, you know, get my own settings in the car and the colors that I want and be able to adjust it to my preferences. And it's just beautiful. It flat out is beautiful.
And we'll be posting a very short video. We took one at night. I'm not sure how well it's going to end up looking, but we'll post it, and that way you can check it out as well. So
yeah,
it definitely has a lot more flexibility compared to the Volvo.
Yeah. Lane assist is great. That's another big win for me. I did realize, and this was just the other day, yesterday when I was driving it in town.
Yep.
You don't only use lane assist when you are in cruise control. You can also click that little button when you're in town, and it'll just keep your lane. You'll have your little steering wheel so you know what you're doing. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Well, I think overall, their driving assist package as a whole, they've done a fantastic job with it. Even the auto lane change and things like that. But to your point, yeah, Volvo has the same thing where you can enable just that specific feature. We've already talked about how it works in the Volvo. I love that on the Kia because I use it in town as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Yep.
I like that I can take a 360 picture of the car from my app. So you just load up find my car. Where's my car at? Where's Justin? He's supposed to be here. He's not here yet. Where's he at? I can track the car. I can see. It'll take a picture and send it to me. So that's pretty cool too. It
is pretty cool. I hope that they're planning on taking the next step in doing full video. Like I know some of the Teslas do. They may all do it. I just remember seeing it from a Tesla, people posting their videos. I hope Kia goes that far. They have all the cameras to do it. I hope they go that far and allow people to create videos more from a security perspective, because I really like that. And I think it has a mode where it will auto send you pictures.
It has a geoforce. It has a geoforce that you can set up, and I'm really interested in getting some more information about that. Another big win for me, which I said on the Volvo, the door handles have bottoms to them, so your crap doesn't fall out through the bottom. And on Amazon, there is a kit that you can buy to put in the bottoms of like everything that has a handle or a bottom to it. So I want to get that, so you can put it in the door handles, you can put it in the little cup holder things at the very bottom, you can put it in your little purse bag holder thing. So yeah, we're gonna get that ordered and test that out and see how we like it.
Well, and you did buy the holder for the center console.
I did, yeah. I saw that on
it was nice to have that.
The Kia EV6 forum. So it's just something that you can sit on top, and it has like change holder, and you could put little bits in there instead of just being such a deep drop down pocket. Yeah. One of my favorite things on the outside of the car, I love when you open the doors at night. In the back, there's lights. There's lights over the back side of the car. It's beautiful. They're white and they're bright, and it's so nice.
Yeah, such a subtle little thing you think, but it is really, really cool. I like it. Yeah.
And speaking of lights, I don't know that we have ever had a car, or I've ever been inside a car, that at night, when you open the doors, whether it be the front seat or the back seat or the trunk, it's like daylight in there. You can see everything. There is no way, if you open that door, that somebody's going to be hiding in your back seat, because there's no darkness. If you open the door and it's dark, then something may be wrong. Yeah. you need to watch out. So
check a setting.
yeah,
If something's been turned off.
yes, because it is beautiful, and I get lots of compliments on that when I'm showing her off. Everybody loves how bright it is at night.
Yeah, that's true. I like it, and I know we didn't talk about it for the Volvo one. How do you think it compares to the Volvo?
The Volvo one is not as bright as the Kia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So that's mine.
Let me look through my list. So I think in general we've talked about the exterior styling and how nice it is. Door handles, a great one. Ambient lighting, great. Quickness, it's quick as well. It's quicker than I thought it would be. And we did do some 0 to 60 testing for both vehicles, so we'll be doing that in another video because I don't know what the stats are, but it feels quick.
And I do want to let everybody know that it is just high enough off the ground that when you hit an armadillo, it does not damage your car.
Yeah, you hit it.
You hit it.
It leaves blood.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt anything,
Yeah.
any of the trim. So yes.
That's what happens when you drive dark country roads at night.
Running over those armadillos.
He couldn't hear me coming.
That's
it's not
true.
my fault.
That's right. And you didn't have the headlights that turned with you.
No.
So he was in the dark and silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're
poor
not
little guy.
fast to begin with.
Poor little guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Or girl. But poor thing.
Sorry.
Yeah. Paige the Armadillo Killer. We'll have to get her a new license plate. The software, it's full featured. There is a lot to the software.
Gosh.
To the point where we really do need to sit down and kind of go through everything methodically. And I think that was probably the approach we'll take for the video, just to learn all the intricacies and nuances, because there was a lot to digest. So kudos for providing that. Now just the downside of that is, we have to go through that learning curve. But I do appreciate the fact that they've invested a lot on the software side of things. So good job, Kia, that. And it, for what we've used, works very well.
Oh, yeah.
Works very well. Charging goes without saying, but the charging that we've experienced so far, it's been a little bit hit and miss on the Electrify America perspective, but from a pure charging perspective, it's definitely hit our expectations.
Yeah.
So when the 350 kilowatt charger worked for us the first time, it peaked in, I think, 230s or 240s, and then of course it did its up and downs via the curve due to heat, but it was super fast, and we ended up charging in under the 20-minute time frame, and I forget where we started at. But we have had connectivity issues with Electrify America on the 350 kilowatt chargers that we've tried it on. So that's been a little frustrating. On some of the 150 kilowatt chargers we've used, we've had it where it just pegged itself at 171 kilowatts the entire time until it hit 80, and then that's when it slowly started getting slower. But we still had an incredibly fast charge time on a 150 kilowatt charger because it was able to sustain itself from the low number all the way up to past 80 at 171. So I was surprised and grateful for that aspect. So.
Yeah.
But there's still work on Electrify America because that doesn't happen it doesn't happen all the time. But so far the charging really shows off. One of the reasons why we went for the Kia, and it's definitely going to be the travel car. The travel car. Yeah. The interior, I know we talked about in the past about how we do have a preference to a more techie style interior. And while the Volvo isn't that, we still like the interior to an extent. The Kia really excels at the whole techie experience. I'm getting more used to that touch panel that switches functionality depending if you put it in climate mode versus radio mode. And sometimes I accidentally put it in climate mode and I'm turning up the volume and I'm turning up the heat.
Yeah.
And that's only happened once. I usually use the steering wheel controls for that sort of thing. So I'm getting used to it, but I do like it. You still sometimes have to go into the software and get to the temperature screen itself to do some of the finer controls, but I am getting used to that.
Yeah, and I think I need to learn on the steering wheel controllers when you're changing your song.
Down is next song.
Yes. That's weird to me.
It's weird to me as well. So I kept flipping up. I'm like, why? What?
Why do you keep starting the song over?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but overall, nice. And, even back to the interior more so, it gives us the cockpit feel more than the Volvo. And more than our past vehicles. I think because it sits up so high, or at least the top part is so high and long, it really kind of cups you in. And the seats do a fair job at keeping you cupped in as well. I think the Volvo does a little bit better job at keeping you seated and centered, I think. They also have rear side lights. Oh, sorry, we're talking. I do like the rear side lights. Sorry, I was in a different place mentally.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I too enjoy the rear side lights. I'll leave it at that. The Android app kicks ass. Their Android app is amazing, full featured. There's so much you can do with it, including access to online manuals, things like that. It is great. Yeah. Good job, Kia. Keep up the work. I mean, it was even great for getting the code that we can use with the Electrify America app to activate our free 1,000 kilowatt plan. Versus the Volvo, it took 6 weeks, 7 weeks to get the code to be able to then use in the app, and it didn't even appear in the app until close to that time. It was just not really well done for Volvo, but Kia, great job. I think it was within a couple days we were able to enter in that code.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So that was fantastic.
And then, if anybody's out there waiting to get their extra 1,000, if you picked the gift, your first edition gift was charging credits, you should have gotten an email.
Yeah, to give you a second 1,000 kilowatt allotment.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess overall, just first edition rocks. I mean, I like the first edition tweaks that they did with it with the plate. And I know other cars that do first edition do the similar thing. I just really like that. I think it's a nice touch. The different pattern on the console and also on the middle console is a nice touch, and also the tag that gives you a number. And those are just nice little touches.
And the door, on the door where it lights
the
up,
door sill.
that's really nice.
Yeah. The one odd thing that before we get onto the nitpicks and things like that, the one thing that was interesting is on the I don't know if we mentioned in the previous video, the sticker mentioned that it was the GT line model. But the reality is, and then it had the first edition package. The reality is, it isn't from the knowledge that we had leading up to it, isn't a true GT line model and everything that we've seen leading up to getting this car, the GT line model had a different the body was different. This one has I guess what's called the wind exterior, but the GT line plus first edition stuff interior. I think that's probably the best way to find it. So let's move on to nitpicks, challenges, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I do have a new one since I've made my list, and it's something that I have noticed myself due to my driving style. And this may, again, be one of those settings that I can adjust, but I don't really think it is. So I have a tendency when I drive to lean this way.
On the console.
On the console. I tend to do that and have my... Do you?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so when you're doing that, your heads-up display comes off the side. So you can no longer see your speed limit or your, the actual speed limit sign or the mileage that you're driving. So if you lean this way, it's blocked out that section of the windshield. So that's something that I have to learn to adjust to.
Yeah, that's if the software doesn't have the ability to offset that may be a nice request to write into Kia for a future update.
Yeah. So that's just one.
Because it doesn't really have to offset itself that much to accommodate that sort of movement.
Yeah.
And I imagine you're not the only
more.
person that does that. Even if people are doing longer drives, may rest against the window a little bit, and they'll need it to adjust the other way. So that's a good call.
It doesn't come with a charging cable. They had a very good reason that it didn't come with a charging cable, but they didn't let you know when you ordered the car that it would not come with a charging cable.
And to me, that's the biggest issue.
Yeah,
because had we known that it wasn't coming with a charging cable, and what I mean by a charging cable is one that allows us to plug it into a regular socket.
Yeah.
Which the Volvo did, and what in your previous Fusion did.
Yes.
Right? So we were naturally expecting that, hey, this one should as well, which is why we didn't choose the in-garage wall charger. We went for the charging credits instead. Had we known that it didn't come with that charger, we would have picked the charging solution instead of the charging credit.
Yeah.
It was really weird. And they wanted, was it $6.99?
Sure. Yeah.
For
$6.99.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it was a 40 amp one, but you can get those on Amazon for less than half that price. You can get charging cables for less than half that price. So that was a shock and a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was disappointing. The frunk is pretty small.
No, we didn't mention the frunk in the Volvo, but it was small too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Small frunks.
Small. It's a sunroof instead of a moonroof, and I just really like the way that the moonroof looks
Yeah.
in the Volvo. It's so sharp, and yeah,
And
it looks like it would have a moonroof from the outside of the car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just odd that it doesn't.
Yeah.
To me. So that's just a thing. And in comparing it, and I know we're trying not to really make that direct comparison between the Volvo and the EV6, but the one pedal driving in the EV6 is not as reactive as the one pedal driving in the Volvo.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how the head-to-head testing worked. But I think in our experience, the Volvo is a little bit stronger on the regen. And we're comparing, one pedal to one pedal, and
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. But that's really all the nitpicking stuff that I have.
Yeah, I mean, to expand a little bit on the one pedal thing, what I noticed is when it comes to a stop, there's a little bit of roll forward and back with like a little rock.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, but it does stop. But it gives it a little rocking thing. So I thought that was interesting. With regards to the seat position, I know we talked about the Volvo being a kind of a normal seating posture. On the EV6, you're more like a go-kart. So the seat height is lower ultimately. So your legs you're more elongated as you sit. I don't mind that when I'm driving. It just feels weird when you get in the car because your mind wants your foot to go down further because you're used to past seats. And especially, potentially, driving a different car every day, it kind of highlights that it's kind of weird. Not necessarily bad or anything like that. It's just something that we've noticed. As this is kind of interesting.
And the turning radius isn't as quick as
quick or tight. You mean?
Yeah, I mean, so when I'm in the Volvo and I want to turn, I feel like I could go in a circle and it would be fine. But I feel like I have to do that 3-point
Right.
turn.
So the Kia, because of how how long the wheelbase is, and I'm assuming the depths of the wheel well, it doesn't have as good as turning radius as the Volvo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. The other thing I was thinking we talked about before, I think we mentioned on the Volvo, we'll talk about the Kia, the range. Now, it's rated at 264. We have not seen that range out of it. Yes, we've had cold weather, but we're typically sitting in the 200-mile range-ish.
Full charge says 219.
Right, and that's if you have it in normal mode, no climate.
Right.
So we're interested, just like the Volvo, we're interested in getting the warmer weather to have a better look at what the real world range is, given the same driving conditions, right? Faster speed limits on the highway and things like that. In the city, they both do a good job on regen, but on the highway, we're just not getting the range that's stated, not even close. So, because being 20% off or more, maybe close to 30%, that's a significant issue. Great, the charging makes up for it if you do it as your trip car, great, but we definitely need to spend more time with better weather to see if that mileage gets closer to what they're saying. So that was kind of a yeah. Not a huge complaint per se, but it's definitely something it's just a huge difference from
that is a big difference, especially if it's your travel car.
And I shouldn't have to put myself in eco mode.
Because he wants to enjoy driving the car.
I want to enjoy driving the car, exactly. And now when I drive on the highway, what I've been doing is just popping it down to normal mode. The only time we popped in eco mode is when we're doing that drive up to the charges to see how close we can cut it to zero. Otherwise, I put it in normal mode. I just don't think I should be penalized with car enjoyment to be able to get that high range.
You put it in sport mode.
When?
Most of the time when you're driving.
No, lately what I've been doing on the highway is popping it into normal mode. If I want to focus more on the range, a lot of times if I know that I'm not going that far and coming back, then I'll just leave it in sport mode to have a little extra nimbleness. So I do wish.
Yeah,
that
if
was
I'm
the
on
case.
my way to work and I know I'm going to charge, it's in sport mode.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, but speaking of that though, the one thing I don't like is it defaults itself to normal mode. So every time you start your car, you have to put it in sport mode. And I would love there to be a setting that allows me to put that as default for my profile. At least have that option. Though I guess that points out one of the other good things about Volvo, because it's very feature focused. it's always in sport mode effectively.
Right.
So I really like that. So it's just annoying how to do it. And same with the one pedal.
You always have to turn the one pedal on, which is a really annoying.
Yeah, it always defaults itself to the level 3.
And you have to be driving.
And you have to be driving, not in reverse or parked.
Right.
So it's just like, every time I back up, I have to wait till I hit drive and quickly hit the one pedal and not have to worry about it. So that's kind of annoying. And so even when you park and don't turn off the car, it resets itself to level 3. So it is kind of annoying, and I wish they could fix that in software. And maybe if we dig enough in the software, we'll find it. But right now, we just haven't seen it. So that should be improved. The trip meter right now seems to reset every time you turn off the car. So that's not really conducive if you're trying to track a long trip and also the individual segments. So maybe I need to spend more time in the software, but right now that seems to be the case, and it's no bueno for me. Yeah. And I think that covers the nitpicks for me. I mean, then we love the car, absolutely, and we hope that they start, continue to make improvements, because we think they have a home run on their hands.
Yeah.
And I mean, certainly, we get people asking about the car everywhere we go. We were cornered at the Electrify America charger a couple weeks ago. This lady, she recorded me for like 15 minutes to see just how much she loved the car, kept asking questions, and we're more than happy to share experiences with everybody, whether they don't drive an EV or they do. It's fun to do, and it's fun to share that experience. So having something that is so new, had the commercial at the Super Bowl, it definitely is making it fun to drive it and be seen in it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that we're trying not to say in front of people, especially in our town, is the gas prices have gotten so high here. I mean, we were used to high gas prices in California, so here it's just like normal now. But they talk about how much it costs to fill up their gas tank, and how they can't go anywhere on the weekends because they have to pay for their gas. And I'm just like, goodbye EV.
Yeah. And again, you get the federal incentives on the Kia and on the Volvo, because they haven't reached that, I think 250,000, whatever that level is, before you don't get the tax credit. And then we also have state tax credits still active, which reminds us we need to send off
I keep thinking about it all the time.
The paperwork for that. So there's no better time than the present to buy an EV. And
if you're worried, get a plug-in.
Yep.
At least you can bridge that.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
That's a great way to end it. Good job. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Click like if you like, subscribe, tell all your friends, all that kind of cool stuff.
Thanks for being adventurous with us.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.